hesitancy that they wouldn't just not go out to vote and this and that. But then the 2020 elections proved that they came out to vote, or they supposedly came out to vote. And I'm in the middle of the forest zone, so I could see that there was a really high turnout in the Akan speaking areas in 2020. So, I was a little dismayed. And it's been nothing like the reception we've had now, where it's been so, we've been welcomed with open arms, and they tell us quite openly, that look, this time is different. We were fooled, and we're not going back to listen to them. They know that 8 years is enough to have suffered this level of poverty, hardship, and they don't have any hope left anymore. So they know that if they don't bring about a change, their children and grandchildren are the ones going to suffer. So you hear indigenous, Ashantis, talking like this. I'm in the home villages of Bafo or Seakutu, so I know what I'm talking about, in the middle of Kwabre. So it's which traditionally has given MPP the highest number of votes per constituency in the country. So it's been an uphill battle. And now I am we are not campaigning. They are the ones campaigning for us.
So for the difference they tell you has been the hardships?
It's the hardship and the lack of development. They are astounded, about the development that John Mahama, Professor Mills, and then John Mahama were able to bring in their 8 years. And what they are seeing now, they claim this in 2020, what the election tactics that they used. About 2 months before the election, then they brought out these heavy-duty vehicles with vehicles and equipment, ostensibly to clear the roads, do gutters, and all this kind of thing within the region. Then after they won, everything was taken away. Virtually nothing was done. Virtually nothing all over the region. Virtually nothing was done. It's unbelievable. And now they've done the same thing. Within the last 6 to 8 weeks, there are heavy-duty equipment everywhere. They are working on gutters day and night. And, doing so much.
So the same thing that happened in 2020 is happening again?
Exactly the same thing. And the people are saying, you can't fool us like this. We know that the week after elections, you are going to come and clear your equipment away. We know that you are going to come and clear your equipment away. So why are you doing this to us? Even as Hope, we came out and voted for you again, only for our hopes to be dashed. So the people themselves are wide awake now.
That's quite interesting. But why the NDC? They could have gone with Alan Kojo Mantins on a ballot paper, also from the region, just like you, Nana. Kwame Bediaku's name has come up as an indigenous of the region who might attract a lot of votes. Why do you think the NDC is particularly attractive to them this time around?
Well, I'm not saying that my brother Alan will not get votes. I believe he will. And the votes he will get will be from MPP. And the young Bediako, he will also get some measure of votes. Those votes are coming from the disillusioned MPP youth. They are not coming, those votes are not going to be taken away from the NDC, members, supporters, or sympathizers. And I think that's the point maybe many people miss, thinking that Alan and the young man, Bediako, will get votes. They will get votes. Some limited measure of votes. But the votes they will get is not coming from NDC stock. It's coming from disillusioned MPP. And the MPP know it. Look, there's hardly any campaign going on for them. There's hardly any campaign going on for them. That is why they have desperately been flooding here, going up and down here, coming back, doing reverse gear, doing promising all kinds of things to our people. But you asked me a question that why NDC and not the other party. I've told you where the other parties are going to get their very limited amount of votes from. But the NDC has been in government before. We have been tried, we've been tested. They've seen with their own eyes during their lifetime the kind of development, especially during John Mahama's time, that he brought. And they know it's unparalleled. Nothing like that has happened. And then when we talk about development projects we started, like the Afari Hospital comes first to my mind because I went there with John Mahama in the dying days of the 2016 campaign. We wanted to commission it. And it was 90-something% complete. They refused to have anything to do with it and left it the way it is. Left it the way it is. Up to today, the E-blocks that we started are standing there, 90 or 99% complete, standing there unused. I mean, 8 years, and people can see it. And you are talking to them about free senior high school. When people can see these huge edifices, which they just refuse to use and refuse to finish, maybe putting water and electricity there. And, it's beyond belief, really. And I think this is what the ordinary people have now realized, that it's untenable, it's untenable for any government to continue the way the MPP are going. And they don't want to even give it a try.
In fact, in 2016, I'm sure you went back home with a track record you're proud of in terms of the performance of the government, development projects, among others, in the region. You did not get that hearing. Is that why you say your expectations have been exceeded this time around? Because this time around, you are not carrying development projects. You are not in government. You are an opposition party. You sell hope. And that hope is selling better than the tangible projects we're selling. Is that why you say expectations have been exceeded?
To tell you the honest truth, the MPP have done most of our campaign for us against themselves, because their negativity and the image they have created for themselves, it's that is what has done it. We don't have to talk. When you start, they will tell you, Jai, they know what is going on, and they can see it visibly. Yes, in 2016 we had our own internal, issues. And in 2016, we didn't prioritize certain things. I'm telling you, Senna, I have never seen my party, apart from in 2008, I've never seen my party work so hard and so effectively, functionally at the grassroots, at its base, where it matters. In 2016, the party was a bit fractured and the organs were not working as effectively as they should. This time, really, still there are some cracks and gaps, but I'm amazed. I've been amazed at them from the time of the limited registration, at the way ordinary, organizers, women organizers, so on, worked for the party. The party structures came alive and they worked at the base. And that is the reward that we are seeing now. It's been a year of consistent hard work using party structures. And it's not been about one person or one unit of the party or one, you get me? It's been about collective will, that this is our destiny. If we don't put things right now, we are not going to be able to, make it for the next few years. And this is what has driven us. The party is driven not by the leadership, but by the grassroots themselves. And when that happens, it's unshakable. It's unshakable. It's unstoppable. The only thing that can stop us is this mass, cheating and unrest and so on the D-Day itself. And we've put into place appropriate mechanisms to deal with those issues if they arise.
And this time around, what are you expecting in terms of votes? Because we were just looking at the 2012, 2016, 2020 votes. 2012, you came close to around 28%. That's close to 30%. You fall to 23% in 2016. Then you do a little over 26% in 2020. I'll say Chairman Sabons to say if you do 30%, there's no way the MPP can win the elections. Do you think you'll do close to that?
We're going to do more than that. It's going to be more than 30%. So I'm telling you, because we went up the increase in figures. I think we got over 600,000 votes from 400,000 in 2016. So it's an exponential rate of increase anyway, because maybe we have more of our members coming in and so. But this time, we have also brought on board the Akan, the Akan factor. And that is immense in Ashanti region, because the settlers, the base is made up of settlers to a large extent. And then we have the Akan. But this time, we have brought on board the Akans, and I think that is the deciding factor for us. We've managed to get them on our side, to see that the party that wants to see development in the region is the NDC. That is the most viable choice. That will actually help them. And, the engagements we've had and the level of discontent, Ashantis, we are interested in business. We are the business people. We are the heart of money making in Ghana, apart from our gold industry, which has been destroyed by Galamsey largely. But we make money. We do business. We are hardworking. We are industrious, and that is what has crippled some of our people. This dollar rate, it has struck our business people down. They are used to going to bring goods in and be able to sell them. Now, even some of them are shy, in inverted commas, to sell things at the exorbitant, inflated rates that they have to, if they are able to even scrape a living. They have this electricity, ECG blackouts continuously. People who own cold storage facilities and so on complain bitterly that their things got spoiled, their equipment got spoiled, the food and other things all got spoiled. They lost all their money, and now the cost of bringing in all the duties, the 20-odd duties you pay at the harbour when you bring in things, cost of transporting them. They couldn't keep any promises they made to the business community. It has hurt the backbone, the spine of the Ashanti Kingdom. And I think that this is a real factor that we have to look at. That has played into our favor, because during our time, the biggest problem we had was the ECG, was Dumso, but it was something that we managed to resolve at the end of the day, and they could see the way forward, but unfortunately it played into the propagandist hands of the MPP, and they were able to sway people. But here we are, I'm in my village, and the lights go on and off every day. Every single day, there's a doomsday situation here. Can't quite understand it. There's hopelessness. The youth don't know what they are getting themselves into. And they benefited from the senior high school system a poorly managed senior high school system. And then they can't get jobs, they can't go to the universities, they can't finish, they can't pay their apprenticeship fees. There's so much that they can't do. And NDC has now been able to offer the way forward for for some of the problems facing people on an everyday basis. So I think that we have proved that we are the most relevant, party, and we are able to take the hands of people to see the way forward, into this very difficult climate that we are going into in 2025 and beyond.
How do you then respond to the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, who's made accusations of that your plan is largely built on causing chaos on election day, and has even gone ahead to say you are behind what happened in Techiman to the Otumfuo's convoy, among many other accusations?
Look, I've never taken that guy seriously. I don't know why anybody takes him seriously. I've never, ever, ever in my life taken Chairman Wontumi ever see anything he says. I don't take it seriously. Somebody who will come on the media, on a TV station, and take out gold bars gotten from Galamsey from his pockets to show you that we na iska, we na friend iska. No, I mean, where are you going to with such a person? He has done several things to me. I don't want to talk about him. I don't view him as a real factor here in the Ashanti region. If our chairman general is there, standing there, and Chairman Wontumi is standing there, there's such a huge difference, in terms of validity and in terms of having, being able to articulate issues and the way forward. I've never taken Chairman Wontumi ever seriously. Don't you see? I have a smile on my face, even though you can't see it. I don't want to talk badly about him, but I don't take him as a serious factor in Ashanti politics. I'm sorry to say this.
And let me conclude by asking you a question, because everybody seems to be asking, why is Ashanti a big deal in this election? Can you?
It's the figures. It's the figures. This is where we had 1.7 million votes. I'm rounding them up to the average. 1.7 million voters. Out of this, NDC had, I believe, 650,000. NPP had 1.1 million. So they have 1.1 million votes here. We have 650,000. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won the 2020 election by 500,000 votes plus. So that 500,000 votes is what we are playing. We are all trying to get here. And as far as we are concerned, we have won at least 12 of the 16 regions. We have won it. All we need to do is to increase our votes in Ashanti region, and then we'll be able to overtake it. For me, let me put in a last point that it's a bit disturbing to me as a lawyer of many, many years. A bit disturbing that one region out of 16 can make or break the election. And I think, let's see what happens. We are confident in what is going to happen. So maybe I won't make any further, steps. I won't articulate anything right now about it. But it's a bit sad. When we can win, we're leading in most of the regions, in 2020, and yet because we lost heavily here due to ethnic factors more than anything else, and not only ethnic factors, but due to systematic, I won't say stealing, but systematic, irregularities. Let me put that better. Irregularities that happened in the region, which are widespread. Everywhere I've gone this last 1 year, every single, and I've toured 40 plus of the constituencies in Ashanti region this year. Every one of them, every one of the branches has a story to tell about how they see people pulling out ballot boxes, and this is in cahoots with them, this is in cahoots with them, how they see, double balloting and all types of things, just stuffing of ballot boxes, and so many things. Every single of our 7,100 branches, somebody has something to say about this. So there must be some truth, and we need to recognize that now we have been able to address those issues with the seriousness that it deserves, because the Ashanti region has the numbers that are making or breaking a presidential election. And indeed, even a parliamentary. Here we have 47 constituencies, the highest number by far. And I think these are all things that we have to look at sometime in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you, Senna. I'm glad I was available. All the best.
All the best to you too. And of course, she's still on the campaign trail until it is all done. Will be on the campaign trail, and she's also indicated that they'll be doing a lot of work on election day, post-election, to ensure that the NDC does very well in the Ashanti region. She is confident. Mrs. Betty Mould Iddrisu is confident that they will do better than 30% in the elections. And of course, talking about Mrs. Betty Mould Iddrisu, this is Alhaji Mahama Iddrisu. We started playing this back on the Gold Morning Conversation. Some of the things they have to say. National Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress.
Unpaid workers poorly with the excuse that the country is broke. Sadly,